Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to AER Memories of Old. So we need to finish out the map, which is just kind of the northeasterly direction of the crater shrine, and then the fly to the northwesterly direction, I suppose, to figure out the final temple and accomplish this. I'm trying to follow these little bits of wind, which I guess this kind of is a Skyward Sword Wind Waker style idea. I would very much prefer that the music play all the way through, and then when the song ends it fades out, and then it gives me about 2 minutes of silence, and then in a new area it would start playing some more music. Unfortunately, I think this is particularly a case where if the game were to work that way, you probably wouldn't only hear 1 or 2 of maybe 6 possible songs that they have in this. Right, this is the Eastern Steps where the temple that we just did was. There's the temple. Yep. But generically speaking, I do kind of want all games to work in that way. Play you music for, so this is Split Mountain, where I believe the fox is supposed to live. This looks like something. But yeah, it's odd when the music cuts out abruptly. It's odd when the music cuts in abruptly. So we've got another shrine and more reading. None of this reading connects to anything though. I am Aurora, the guardian of the land of the gods. I made this record so that my children and children's children may remember. On the day of the Great Divide, when our world shattered, I was still a child. I remember sitting at the white stairs of the southern city of Urza. We had planned a journey to the west, but since the God King had waged war on our city, our lands were not safe anymore, and we stayed inside the city walls. The God King Kuroku, he was called, had built horrible weapons, flying machines of raining fire, but he always thought them far away, or even empty rumors. I haven't seen any of those. When the bells started ringing, fire and tears mixed in a horrible rain over us. We wept and screamed to the gods to end this, but were answered by silence. Then the ground trembled, great cracks appeared and split the white stone walls of Urza, and people fell into the black depths of the earth. I saw my loved ones disappear into the heaving earth, and when the steps beneath me broke, it fell too. Excuse me. I wonder if maybe the Great Divide was necessary because the void and the black rocks had already taken over so much of the planet. That might make it a good thing. But my spirit animal spoke to me, and I remembered and spread my wings. I do not know how, but I flew for a long time over broken lands and stormy clouds. And part 3. Arrived at the outskirts of the land of the gods, half dead, I fell unconscious on the grounds. When I woke there, a priestess sat beside me, tending my wounds. She said that Urza was no more and the world had shattered. A god had sacrificed himself to seal away the void from our hearts, and broken the world in the process. Many had died, but so had the God King, and his city of On was no more. Our shattered world was now at peace. I wept, and still after many, many years I weep at the memory of this day and the terrible cost of this peace. I mean, I guess we do have peace in this world, this dead world with nobody in it. Let's see, we're I'm not seeing a lot of ghosts or anything. I kind of feel like they may have given up on that. Let's go in here and see if the fox creature lives in here. His spirit fox. And if this is where we get the third key. It might be that the central north area, Illiqui's Den, might be just a stormy section that is very difficult to fly through, and that might explain some things. We have people just here. There still is kind of a feeling that this might all be in a virtual reality world because of those ghosts, but I haven't really seen anything else that gives that indication other than the low polygon Unity assets. But if every game on Steam with low polygon Unity assets was set in a cyber world, then half the games on Steam are potentially cyberpunk. Let's see, am I missing anything if I don't jump over there? Oh, the platforming kind of sucks. I'm just gonna say it straight out. If you miss a jump, falling down and having to wander around with no other distraction from that point is not fun. I'm not gonna try that a third time. If there is supposedly something here, I don't see it. It just looks like it's a statue. And yeah, these glowing mushrooms don't seem like they do anything other than act as lights, and the yellow spores seem like they're just a secondary form of lighting, and they're trying to use lighting to direct us in the direction we should go. And it's mostly working. There's a statue of the fox, and there is the fox. Is he gonna give us a key now? That's kind of weird. It's also kind of weird he's looking at a statue of himself, but whatever. You do you, fox creature. Hello again, my wandering friend. How kind of you to visit an old fox's den. It's quite empty, don't you think? No, not the den, the land of the gods. Not as many animals anymore, nor as many spirits. Leafla is still in her cave, it seems, and the old spirit bear moves from cave to cave in the north. But there were more once. A fish, a crane. The spirit fish lived in the rivers, in the pools around the Twilight Lake. His last gift to us was the water that never stops flowing. Without it, we would have been lost a long time ago. And the spirit crane, she helped guide the last priest and priestess north during the Great Divide. She was hunted down by Karaku's men as they mistook her for a swan. Fools. As they declined, so are we declining. All we can do now is ask questions, and I have two for you. Why the Great Divide, and why you? Wander in search of answers, little wanderer. Thank you for your company. It was such a long time ago, but finish your quest now, or else there won't be another time. So it seems like this was a solely optional thing to come in here. Like, I'm really not seeing any reason for that. So how do we get out of here? Now, I guess head towards the light. We'll see if this is So I thought he was going to give me a key, and he didn't. So let's just fly a little bit. Remember how to flap my wings with the other button. So we've got a rock over here with a bird spawn checkpoint. We've got a rock over there, and the top of these mountains seem to not really have anything on them. So they just wanted some snow-peaked mountains, it seems. Again, doesn't seem like there's too much. And then this land doesn't seem like there's really anything there. And this one will fly by this and yeah, doesn't seem like there's anything special with that either. So the only possibly important place is this other side of this split path mountain. Here's some different mushrooms. You know, in games, a lot of game creators wouldn't want to really admit if their product is unfinished. I don't know how you can make any argument for this one that it isn't unfinished. There's clearly stuff that should, in any intelligent design of any game, any standard way you make a game, there's lands here that should have something on it. There's no point in making an open world game where you don't do anything or can't interact with anything. And I wouldn't be surprised if, with the exception of the islands that actually do have temples on them or keys on them, wouldn't be surprised if all the other islands were added in relatively the last second once the developer of this game, Forgotten Key, realized that they couldn't go any further with development. And this, I believe, did take 7 years or 6 years to get developed, and that is an incredibly long amount of time, particularly when you're running a business and paying people. 6 or 7 years might be reasonable if you're working other jobs and doing it as an indie developer, a single developer. So I guess this is the storm, which it's not really blowing me off course, so I'm perfectly fine here. We've got a very different sounding music, like music box playing, or bells. Oh, it just says bells. So we'll just go in here and see if maybe we run into the cave bear, the spirit bear. Incredibly long loading screens here. It could have done you at least a favor of putting a still frame image on the load screens too, if you knew they were going to be that long. the tear. Seems like people are worshipping the tear, whatever it is. I don't know if I'd want to worship something called the tear. It's kind of like the Myst game series, where there's just tears in one world to another world. I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of exactly how this goes. We end up going through a tear to a different reality. That would open this up to sequels. Not that that matters. There is THQ Nordic that loves to buy up games and republish them, but they don't really do anything with them or do anything great with them. So I had some hopes that they would, but they didn't. Particularly with Darksiders 3, that was the one I was hoping that they'd put a lot of time and effort and budget into, and they really didn't make a good game from what I hear. Although they did patch it, so it might be slightly better now than when it first released. What's this? Is this some kind of weapon of war or trebuchet catapult? It looks like. So that's quite a war going on if you have to, in the middle of a perpetual snowstorm, have trebuchets also at aim. Well, it seems like the important island, according to the map, is over here. I see little bits of lights that are directing me. Jeez, you can kind of just fall like a torpedo. The subtle music being played with the bells is something that would have played a lot better earlier on in the game, instead of coming out with kind of a adventurous, happy-go-lucky songs that we've been listening to up in to this point. I really don't get dark, foreboding, danger approaching from it, though. So, the Cave of Harmony. So I just kind of find it intriguing, and that's about it. Hey, it's the bear. That would be the first ghost of an animal we've seen, I believe. Again, I can't transform. And this isn't doing anything, and we can see. I guess we're ringing the bells. Guess that explains this guy hanging his hands over his ears. I'm assuming that this is going to crack the ice. This is like again a kind of stupidly simplistic puzzle. Well, I didn't expect it to crack that ice. I I was expecting something different. And this is like solid ice. Just in case you fall anywhere, you land here. Is there anything to see? A little bit of an interesting reflection on the ice with the lantern, but yeah, there's no ghosts. Yeah, anytime I even try to look around to find anything extra, I'm not really getting rewarded for it. I mean, seriously, there could have been any number of collectibles, coins, talismans, pages of scripture, photos of animals, but in a camera mode, yeah, that would have probably required too much programming for them. And we have a key that is just kind of like an X shape with a triangle. We're just going to take it. Feels like something else should have appeared, or that something should fight me. Like, you could totally see collecting the key and then a giant serpent monster cracking the ice and knocking you down, and then at the very least swimming to escape. Frankly, I would take QuickTime events at this point, just so there's something to do at all. Instead, we just, in silence, are walking out of this area and then going to talk to the fox again. And you can't walk past him. My friend the little wanderer found her way to the far north. Aren't you cold? Even I can feel the chill through my fur. Might be the hot-bloodedness of humans. Well, at least you made the air shimmer in here. Like the stars found at the roof of the world, where the air is crisp and clear, the storms never rage. The key is the key in ice to break ice once more. Go west, go north, but don't freeze to death as other creatures before you. And that's all I can do. So, storyline writing, why did I need the guru friend? Like, why not just have the spirit animal fox at the beginning of the game telling me what to do? Like, I don't need 2 spirit guides, and yet the game kind of gave me that. Alright, so we're going in that general direction. And it's kind of odd that it's so narrow, but I guess it doesn't really matter. We fly this way, and unless the winds are gonna throw us for a loop and give us a challenge, like halfway through the game, if we had gotten shot back to the beginning of to the settlement, and they said, oh, you're not strong enough to reach the winds, so instead you have to train, or you have to get this other item. That would be a typical video game logic, Zelda style gameplay, where you feel like you're halfway through the game, and then they give you this secondary side quest. Like, generally in Zelda that would be, you got the Master Sword, but now you have to use it. This is the roof of the world, which has this one, you can see, this looks like something. but apparently I can't read it. Here we have another statue. We've got some different music. Yeah, it definitely kind of feels like they had a musician, but they didn't have a game developer. And I've seen certainly some VR games and just some walking simulators that are very much like that, where there's a very good musician that's involved, and this is their art project, but then they for some reason decided to make a video game when they really didn't have that skill. That's annoying. Falling through a hole. Let's see. Barely made that. It's still very awkward flying. I realize you've traveled far, but there's no path up there anymore. The ground has fallen to the depths. Those of us still here are leaving in a fortnight. Okay. And the last island of this map is here. Notice, by the way, we see the moon and the stars right now. Everywhere else in the game has been sunny and bright. They transitioned us to nighttime when we were going through the storm and couldn't see the sky. So I don't know if this is supposed to be like this. This is a higher elevation, closer to space. I think in this world the implication is that there kind of is no space. Interesting. Like that this whole world and its mythology, for what little is actually explained, instead of just being, again, I have to use the phrase pseudo-intellectual, just trying to sound smart. Maybe in the original language it does make a lot more sense, but here I'm just not buying it. Alright. Let's fly up here. Looks like what we're going to do, if I can manage to make it. And this is just a nightmare scenario. Like either bunny hop or fly and hope that your flight doesn't end in you flying off the edge. This is slow. Really slow. This might have been an experiment on scale to do the thing that I would like to have seen them do, which is have all the temples in the overworld and not have loading screens. I am Zoya of the Snow. Today a priestess from the far southeast came to us telling us of a great war between the cities of Urza and Orm. Her name was Karen. She requested an audience with the god that said to sleep here, the Watcher of the Veil. Our master of the scrolls bowed to her and told her if there ever was a god, he must be sleeping so deeply that even she could not awaken him. But Karen insisted, and he led her into the innermost sanctuary. She stayed there for 3 days and 3 nights. No one knows what she did in there. She left us without a word, but her face was sad. I fear for our people. What can we do but guard the most holy text of our ancestors? We are but few, and no one believes us. Our whole world has gone mad, and there is no cure. Yep. Okay. More story. I did kind of get the feeling that Kara was pregnant and lost the baby in some kind of like blood pact with the gods that caused the Great Divide, which seems like it's supposed to be a good thing, although I'm still not really buying that it is. These candles would have long since been blown away. And see, now this music is trying to be a little sad. Now this key does not, I think, really match the way the key looks in when we saw it. It's somewhat close, but the angles are a little off. Well, before we open the temple and start another cutscene, let's end this recording here. With any luck, next recording or the recording after next will be done with this game, unless it just unlocks something more. I'll probably look at the achievements after I end this series and see if it maybe would take 20 minutes or 30 minutes to get all the achievements, or if it would take a really long time. If there's something in there that says you have to beat the game under an hour and 30 minutes, for example, that's not realistic. I'll never do that. Or if there's something in there that says you have to find all the ghosts or find all the animals, I wouldn't be able to do that. But if it's something simple like just fly to this one place and I can look at a walkthrough or a map and know where that one place is, and if I really only have like 1 or 2 achievements left, I'll try that. Because I'm still kind of obsessive, and Steam does reward you for 100% completion on achievements, but they really don't care if you don't make 100% completions. Anyways, that's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to further follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me, there's also a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.